Alright guys, welcome to another Shadow PC game testing video. So we're going to be taking a look at Red Dead Redemption 2. This isn't going to be so much of a benchmark like I would normally do, as it will be discussing a few of the presets that you could use to get different performance, both at 1080p and 1440p. There's so many different settings and options with this game that I wanted to go ahead and just spend a little bit of time with MSI Afterburner and going through some of those settings with you to give you a good idea of how you're going to be able to run this game on your Shadow PC at both 1080p and 1440p. I will say that you'll be running at fairly low settings if you want to maintain a 60 frames per second or above, and you'll be able to go up to close to maximum if you're okay with about the 30 frames per second. But we'll take a look at all those here in just a minute. Like I said, we'll have MSI Afterburner up, and we'll just kind of hang out in one little area and talk about those settings. So let's go check that out. Alright, so the first thing we're going to take a look at is running in 1080p. 144 hertz is going to be our refresh rate for all of this testing out. We're in full screen, and this is the maximum quality preset. Now I'm gonna stick with using presets on all these different options just to keep it clean and easy for people that just want to quickly pick a preset here and go with it. Yes, once you dial it in close to where you want it with a preset, you can go down through here and start adjusting all your individual graphic settings and really hone in what frames per second you want, what graphics quality you want, and fine tune it. They've even got a very large list of advanced graphics here that is locked by default. We are running on a Vulkan API. You can unlock this and get into changing a ton more things here too, and really narrow in your graphics settings if you want to. It's something that I will do for myself playing personally. I'll have everything just set exactly where I want it, but for the purposes of this video, just showing you a small example of running Red Dead Redemption 2 on Shadow Boost package, we're just going to stick with using a few of the quality presets. So this is completely maxed out preset at 1080p. And we are just hanging out in the first camp area here. This is just kind of a good spot to chill out and go through some of these different settings, and I'll load in here each time, and it'll be fairly consistent. Now, playing the game out in the world, completely dependent upon how much water effect there is. Is it raining? Is it snowing? Is it sunny? Is it night? Is it day? Tons of things are going to change the performance of this game, which is why I would recommend trying to go with settings that are going to get you to that 60 frames per second here or in most areas, so that when you get into other effects or other busy areas, you can maintain a nice frame rate. When I was playing in a really snowy area and I had some more water effects going on and things, I did go down. I did see like a 26 frames per second. So and this is at 1080p. So at 1440p, which we're also going to test, it's even worse. So I cannot recommend, I can't really recommend running Red Dead Redemption 2 on completely maxed out preset, whether you're at 1080p or 1440p. So you can see just walking around here, we've gotten, we're staying just in the camp. We're staying around that 39, 38 frames per second range. And like I said, that's gonna change quite a lot depending on what's going on out in the world when you're doing things, draw distances and effects and things like that. But I mean, you can get a fairly consistent 30 frames per second experience, but it's a little choppy. It doesn't give you much overhead room with other things going on, so I just really don't prefer it. So let's go in and change this over to 1440p, because we won't have to do a game reset to do that. I'll have to reset it to show the other presets that I want to show here for you. So let's just jump over to 1440p. And I'll show you the difference. It's only going to be about 7 or 8 frames per second, I believe. So here we go, and hanging out in the camp here. Okay, more about 10. And I am doing all the recording from my local PC, so we're not losing any performance from recording anyway on the Shadow PC. So 1440p, running at the maxed out preset. Even just in this camp without anything else going on, we struggle to get to that 30 frames. And you can see the CPU is, you know, it's working. It's, you know, they're a little underpowered for what I would like to see, as I've said before. But, you know, this game is a lot more GPU bound, and it's just hammering that P5000 also. So definitely a struggle if you get into a lot of combat going on, other weather conditions, hunting animals, things like that. You're going to see even worse drops. So not very playable at 1440p, and just barely playable, barely at 1080p with the maxed out preset. So what I'm going to do is set up to drop down to the balance preset. I'm going to have to restart the game to do that, but I'll fast forward us through that, and we'll come back to this spot and do 1080p and 1440p at more of a mid-range preset and try to get us closer to that 60 frames. So here we are at 1080p in the same spot, the same camp. And we are more on the middle balanced preset. So this is giving us more of a 45-ish frames per second, 40 to 45 here. So this would help you maintain a lot smoother experience to keep you well above 30 even during other experiences while you're playing the game. So this would probably be, and let me show you, this would probably be the highest setting I would really recommend going. Now keep in mind that's for presets. There's lots that you can do. So we're at the 1080p, and we're at the kind of the center balanced preset. When you see the filtering drop down to 8 and the lighting quality to medium there, you've hit that kind of middle balanced. And yes, you can go through here and individually start dumping these down and creep your frames per second up. But like I said, I want to keep this simple and stick with the presets for people that might be wondering what to do here. So let's jump over to 1440p with the same settings on balanced. And let's take a look at the camp here. Alright, so at 1440p, in that center balance, we've gone down from the 40-45 to 30-33. So there again, even at 1440p also, but it doesn't feel too jittery on my end. It's taken a little bit of load off. So again, this would probably be the highest preset I would recommend for the Shadow Boost package. With that Xeon 2678 and that Quadro P5000, as far as just trying to maintain a 30 or above smoother gameplay, definitely that would be the highest I would recommend. But really, if you want to get closer to the 60, especially at 1440p, we pretty much got to go to the lowest. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set us up to do the lowest preset next, so that you can see the difference and what you need to get there. Alright guys, so here we are reloaded back in. We are at our camp here, and we'll go into the settings. We are at 1080p, and we are at the lowest preset and then one up. So that helps with the texture quality a good bit and whatnot. So we're at our 1080p, and then what I did was this, instead of coming all the way down, you go up 1, you go up 2, and you're going to see you get some more of your texture quality. You're filtering your light quality back. It makes a bit of difference through here, and you get to maintain a decent frame rate. So we went down to the lowest preset and then went up 2 until you see it change from all low to high, X to medium. And now with that, that's going to really bump us up in our 1080p. You lose a lot of graphic fidelity. Like if you're looking at his shirt or his jacket and whatnot, it just kind of looks like you're waiting for the textures to load in or whatever. You know, some things like look more blurry or smudgy, but that may or may not bother a lot of people. If frames per second is your goal, you can definitely achieve that, especially at 1080p, and get an extremely smooth gaming experience with Red Dead Redemption 2 here. And of course, you can go in and individually mess with those settings and get yourself closer down to the 60 frames per second. But before I mess with that, I want to go ahead and jump over to 1440p, because I think a lot of people are going to be gaming in 1440p. It's become an extremely popular resolution for PC gaming over the past few years, and it's where I play most of my games, and I want to mostly concentrate on the 1440p with the benchmarks. So let's go back out here. Now with this preset, this is at 1440p, getting us much closer to 60. This is probably, except for going in and individually bumping some of my settings up and tweaking this on my own, this is very close to where I would probably choose to play the game to keep me closer to that 60 FPS. I'll almost always choose more frames per second and a smoother, less hitched game experience over more graphic fidelity. Not all the time, but usually, even with a single player campaign, if I can get it to run 60 FPS and higher, it's just a nicer experience playing, especially on a high refresh rate monitor, than it is when you get down to the 45, 35, and 25 frames per second. So this is a good spot to be here. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope this video was somewhat useful to you. It's not like a normal benchmark I would do, and of course, this doesn't show every scenario. You're going to run into all kinds of different scenarios playing this game, with weather and draw distances and NPCs and combat, animals, all kinds of things going on that's going to affect your frame rate. But this just gives you a general idea of where you might want to get started with your preset settings, and then dial things in how you want them, depending on if you're playing at 1080p, 1440p, and with this build, probably not any 4K. But yeah, let me know what you think of the video. Let me know what kind of games you'd like to see tested on Shadow. A lot of them will be a little bit more of my traditional benchmark, but I really just kind of wanted to go through. There's so many settings in this game and so many differences. I just kind of wanted to go through and show you a little bit of those on 1080p and 1440p. So thanks a lot for checking out the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Hit that bell so you know when I throw out a new video. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and feel free to leave your comment below. Let me know what kind of games you'd like to see tested. Have you played Red Dead Redemption on PC, and how do you prefer 30, 60, higher? What do you like your frames per second to be on a game like this? All right, thanks a lot, and I will see you next time.